I was a typical 17-year-old, navigating the mundane labyrinth of high school life. Friendships, crushes, and awkward encounters filled my days, but every night, an insatiable darkness clawed at my thoughts. Whispers of the dark web echoed in the hallways, tempting my curiosity like a forbidden fruit. One evening, as boredom enveloped me, I decided to plunge into this shadowy realm. With a mix of excitement and trepidation, I downloaded the Tor browser, following a vague tutorial I had stumbled upon on some sketchy forum. My heart raced as ominous warnings danced in my mind. Once you enter, there's no turning back. I shrugged off the dread and pressed on, entering a digital underworld that twisted open before me. An array of illicit goods, grotesque forums, and inexplicable acts of cruelty. My pulse quickened. This was unlike anything I had ever experienced. As I scrolled deeper, hours melted away. That's when I found The Abyss, a site boasting live feeds that showcased humanity at its worst. Curiosity overpowered my better judgment as I watched the grotesque scenes before me. People committing unspeakable acts of violence, tearing into their own skin, and testing the boundaries of human suffering. Yet, one feed held me captive. A masked figure loomed over a bound person, their muffled cries barely piercing through the warped background melody. I felt a thrill mixed with guilt, yet the allure kept me hooked. Beneath the chaos in the chat, I noticed murmurs about betting on the bound victim's survival. My heart raced as I felt an urge to stay, my mind clouded with dread and excitement. When a message flickered across the screen, "Take a screenshot and you might join the game," I hesitated. But after a moment, adrenaline surged through me, and I captured the screenshot, clicking send before I could second-guess myself. Instantly, the screen blacked out, and a chilling welcome message materialized. "Welcome, new player." Nerves tight in my belly, I laughed uneasily, dismissing it as a sick joke. But even as the laughter faded, dread settled in. I felt a creeping sense of paranoia follow me into the night, plagued by shadows protruding from the corners of my vision and whispers brushing against my ears. Days turned to weeks of unease. I became well acquainted with the constant gnawing fear that something was watching me. I dismissed it as paranoia until Halloween night when, driven by an uncontrollable urge, I logged back into the dark web. The Abyss was still alive, waiting for me, and something about its presence felt consuming. The thrill of danger tugged at my heart. I noticed a new game being streamed, The Eighth Circle. Participants faced unimaginable trials before online audiences, and I felt myself getting sucked deeper into the darkness. My heart raced as I watched a selection unfold on screen. Horrible scenarios played out in real time. I didn't know what possessed me, but in a moment of reckless abandon, I typed, "I want in." It was as if the site had been expecting me. The reply flashed, "Then prove your worth. You have 1 hour." Panic surged through me. Instinctively, I knew I should close the laptop and run far away from this nightmare, but curiosity had embedded itself within me. I slammed the laptop shut, attempting to shake off the unease, yet no matter where I turned, it felt like eyes were on me, judging, praying. The buzzing of the fluorescent lights at school was a sinister accompaniment to my growing dread, and I noticed isolated laughter echoing in empty hallways that sent shivers crawling up my spine. Then came the unthinkable. A package arrived at my doorstep. A black box, bland and unmarked, freezing my veins with fear. My hands trembled as I opened it, revealing a crimson hooded mask and a chilling note reading, "Your turn starts now." Heart hammering against my ribs, I flew back to my laptop, determined to extract myself from this nightmare once and for all. But logging back in only intensified the madness. The Abyss was alive, pulsating with energy, and the chat exploded with messages. "Ethan, welcome back. Are you ready to play?" As I stared at the mask, the very symbol of my doom, I felt a deep realization gnawing at me. I was part of the game now, a pawn ensnared within a twisted circle. Fighting back tears, I clutched the mask, feeling as though it was a phantom hand pulling me deeper into the abyss. Time slipped away, each message swirling towards me, a magnet drawing me closer to the eighth circle. Was it too late? All I had ever wanted was to satisfy my curiosity, but the price had become too steep. In that final moment, everything clicked. The mask darkened my vision, and the screen began to flicker, taunting me. I stood on the precipice knowing I was about to become something unrecognizable. With the chat scrolling around me, mocking my demise, I felt the chilling familiarity of a phrase I had typed long ago resonate in my ears. "I want in." And just like that, I felt myself slipping away, my identity fading as the vibrant digital chaos enveloped me. I was gone, lost to the void, leaving only behind a spectral trail for the next curious mind to follow. The cycle continued anew, and the abyss waited patiently for its next unwitting seeker. It started as a thrill-seeking venture. My friend Marcus had been regaling me with tales of the dark web, the tantalizing underbelly of the internet where anything could be found, if you dared to look. I had always been drawn to danger, so one bored Friday night, I decided to plunge into the abyss. I booted up my laptop, the familiar sound of the fan humming peacefully as I set up the Tor browser. My heart raced with anticipation as I stepped into a world of anonymity and illicit deals. I navigated through forums bragging about drugs, weapons, and bizarre fetishes when I stumbled upon a link called The Ultimate Game. Intrigued, I clicked, my curiosity blinding me to the warning bells clamoring in my mind. The site was dark but alluring, filled with cryptic messages and eerie animations. I scrolled through different rooms, each more grotesque than the last. As I clicked into one that promised real-life challenges, a chat window popped up and a message flashed. "Join us if you dare." A spark ignited in my chest, and, fueled by a mix of adrenaline and bravado, I typed back, "I'm in." A few minutes later, I got a new message. "Meet us, 10 p.m., parking lot behind the supermarket." My heart raced. I thought about backing out, but the thrill of the unknown held me captive. Ignoring the gnawing instinct to flee, I grabbed my jacket and headed out into the night. The parking lot was quiet, the glow of streetlights casting long shadows between the cars. As I scanned the area, a group of figures emerged from the darkness, nondescript and unwelcoming. Before I could react, I felt a sharp pain in my side followed by darkness folding over me. I came to in a dimly lit room, the faint hum of machinery surrounding me. A cold, steel chair gripped my wrists and ankles, the restraints tight enough to cut into my skin. Panic surged through me as I registered my surroundings. Grimy walls adorned with sinister tools, each more horrific than the last. I was trapped. My captors loomed in the shadows, their laughter echoing like a twisted symphony. They taunted me, and teasing their plans for the game they intended to play. I strained against the bindings, adrenaline coursing through me as I desperately searched for a way to escape. The voice in my head screamed that I had to think, had to act. In a moment of grim luck, I noticed a shard of glass glinting on the floor, just beyond my reach. With every ounce of strength, I rocked the chair, hoping it would shift even slightly. After what felt like hours, I finally crashed down, the impact jarring my body. The chair broke apart and I fell, tumbling toward the glass. With trembling hands, I clutched the shard and quickly sliced through the restraints. My heart raced as I stood, the sheer will to survive igniting a fierceness within me. The door creaked open, and I darted into the dark hallway, adrenaline propelling me forward. I could hear them shouting behind me, their taunts transformed into furious roars. But I didn't stop. I raced through the building, my instincts guiding me until I found an exit. Bursting through the door, the cool night air hit me like a rebirth. I sprinted into the shadows, finally tasting freedom as I melted into the darkness, leaving the horrors behind me. At least for now.